Hello, guys. Welcome to this episode of A Teal Journey. I think I said the last one was 8. I think this is actually 8, but it doesn't really matter. The big news this time is last week on the 20th of May, I got to ring the bell, which, if you don't know, in cancer circles, you ring a bell at the end of your chemotherapy. So that was awesome, and it felt really good to be able to ring the bell. Of course, that by no means the journey is over, because now we do scans. June 16th, I will be going for my scans, so I've got the lovely iodine to drink before they do the CT for the contrast, and that's going to be what determines if I am in remission or not. And, scanxiety is real. That's the anxiety you get before scans. And I know that whenever I took my initial scans, the only thing there was the tumor. So, having done chemotherapy, there shouldn't be anything there now. So, we're just going to cross our fingers and hope. But I got a couple weeks to wait for that. After that, I do get to do my Pride Festival. I'm hoping that I feel better. The last 2 weeks have been god awful. I got hit with the worst round of side effects that I have had. It has not been fun. I think I was awake maybe 2 hours yesterday and the day before, so I missed out on 2 days of work, which sucks because right now I'm on leave with no pay, but if I can't function, I can't function. So that was this week so far. It's the end of the week now. Tomorrow's Sunday. I have a ton of things to do to get ready for Pride, like making shirts, making hats, making all kinds of stuff. I'm making magnets and keychains, and you name it, I make it. So I'm hoping that I can get all of that done before Pride gets here, because that's going to be exciting. Bought a lot of fans with cordless charging this time, because it usually gets pretty hot if we're really unlucky. Last year it was in September here, which should be cool, but we had a heat wave the weekend of Pride, and it was awful. Of course, I had cancer at the time and didn't know it, so that might have contributed to how bad I felt. At the time, I, of course, had no idea, because I still wasn't going to be diagnosed for about 3 more months. But, that is what it is, as they say, But this week, I'm just hanging in there. And that's really all I can do. Trying to work on a book. Really excited about this book, which I might do a video on it later talking about it, because I really want to make this book take off, because I love the story behind it and I worked really hard on it. Really hard. I don't know quantum physics, but I had to get into it to do this book. Let's just say that, okay? So, of course, a lot of it's creative license, but I did base my facts on research I did. Now, whether all of it was true or not in this day and age, you can never tell, because, there's a lot of fake stuff online, especially about something like quantum physics. But it sounded good, and if it isn't real, it sounds good on paper, so here's hoping. I did try to verify as much as possible, but it's so hard, and that brings me to the topic I was thinking about today. We see so much stuff online about AI, and I know this is kind of not really the Teal Journey thing, but it is in a way. Okay, so I'm a writer and I do my own book covers. My publishing company lets me, because they're quality. And while, yeah, they're not as fancy as some people who have a lot of skill, I've got enough skill that I can turn a book cover out that's pretty decent. And, I use a lot of tools whenever I'm doing a book cover, including Paint Shop Pro. I do use Canvas for some of the abilities it has, though it's iffy on some of the stuff it can do, because it can't do a lot of the things that like Paint Shop Pro can. If you don't know what Paint Shop Pro is, it is a one-time buy editing stuff that is similar to Photoshop, except that it doesn't do vectors. So you have to have your files in SVG format, and it's not quite the same as vectors. So, I've been thinking about checking out Paint Shop Pro, but it's an investment to spend, to say I'm going to spend $25 a month on this for a whole year, because there's other things that money can go to, especially right now with all my bills for cancer treatment and everything. But anyways, what I was getting at with the whole AI thing is I am very much anti-generative AI. I really am. If you don't write your own books, you're not an author. Sorry, If all you did was put a prompt in and have it generate 100,000 words and then go through and edit it a little bit, no, you're not an author. You're a prompter. Same thing goes for covers. If all you did was put in a prompt, and I don't care how many itinerations, how many adjustments you made, that work doesn't count as being an artist. So let's just get that out of the way first. Generative AI is not something I am pro. I'm also not pro generative AI music, which I unfortunately ran into not too long ago. Found some awesome pagan music, I thought. Then turns out it's all Gen AI. And I'm like, well, no. And then somebody on my page posted, well, they work as hard as anybody else. And I'm like, I don't care. They're taking work away from real artists. And their reasoning was they can talk to Gen AI artists and they can't talk to real artists. Nobody is entitled to anybody else's time. I don't care who they are. So anyways, but the whole subject comes up to AI has its uses. And there's been a lot of witch hunts, which I say with tongue in cheek because I'm a witch. But there's been a lot of witch hunts when it comes to AI. And they're absolutely ridiculous. You have so many people who have no idea about writing, who have no idea about artistry, trying to say that just because they don't like something, it's AI. And it's ruining authors. It's once you get the label in the writing world that you're an AI author, you're ousted. That's just the way it is. I mean, yeah, there's some people who revel in that title, but I mean, it's a shame to see what it does because, well, they use too many M dashes. Lately, I heard the word honestly, that if you use honestly, then you're an AI author. Then ellipsis. I have used ellipsis since I was 20 years old, scratching down my first version of Legacy of the Phoenix. Used way too many of them. Now I'm a little more restrained. Semicolons. Lists of things. 3 or more things in a sentence with and. Oxford commas, colons, and lists. Apparently all this means you're an AI author. But again, this is stuff said by people who do not write. AI was trained on authors. Of course it is going to write like us. Yeah, it's extreme. I have looked at AI just so I could kind of know its capabilities and what one looks like. And honestly, here, see, I used honestly again. Honestly, you can't tell the difference in a lot of cases, especially now as it gets smarter and smarter. So this assumption that, oh, I don't think this works, so it's AI, is ridiculous because you're going to ruin an author for your hunch, which is ridiculous. Now, the reason this connects to the Teal journey that I'm going on is AI is extremely useful in certain situations, including finding cancer before it forms. There is research out there right now where they are finding breast cancer using AI models to catch it before the cancer fully forms. This is astronomically amazing. That's what AI is for. To do amazing things that humans cannot do. Not the things we can. Not to take away the creativity that makes us great as humans. If it can find cancer, that is a phenomenal breakthrough, and one we should all be supporting. Instead of this blanket, all AI is bad, we need to talk about how it can be used to help us as humans and where we need to push this technology. You can't just say a blanket statement and say that all AI is bad. It can be useful. The way people are using it, maybe not. However, we need to push it in the direction it needs to go instead of just saying it's all bad. There are uses. Is it bad that they're doing these huge data centers that are eating up tons of water? Yes. Yes, it is. And they need to find some other cooling mechanism for these machines other than water because it's a waste. And, it's going to start affecting our drinking water. And that is absolutely true. And that is absolutely something we need to take seriously. However, as the development of technology continues, which I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, we need to be able to talk about what the use of the technology is actually going to be. Writing books of junk is not the use that I want to see this technology used for. I want to see it catch cancer before it even forms so they can do something ahead of time, before someone sits and suffers through until it's finally found at stage 4, especially cancers like pancreatic, which are notorious for not being found early, and ovarian. I was just very, very lucky, and well, as lucky as you can get with cancer, that it was found in stage 1. And it was just all happenstance. I still don't know what happened there. No idea why I even went to the ER that night. Nobody is ever going to be able to tell me. It was just a very good thing that I did end up in the ER that night. But this is the thing. When we're talking about medical research, which funds are being cut left and right thanks to our administration, and I'm not going to pretend to be a non-political writer here for a minute. Funds need to be dedicated to science and medical research. Period. Not the kind of research that benefits billionaires, but the kind of research that benefits us every day. And I am very strongly against the current administration, and I don't care who knows it. I am not going to be complicit in my own demise, either as a cancer patient, as a pagan, as a queer person, none of those things. I am not going to be complicit in my own demise. And I recommend that you not be complicit in your own demise either, because they don't care about us. They care about money, and they care about their billionaire friends. And if you don't realize that, you need to do some research. Real research on nonpartisan sites and news companies and everything like that. This isn't a left versus right thing. This is a us versus fascism thing. And I take it very seriously, because a lot of things have happened in my life recently that have made me realize where my values stand. And death has stared me in the face, as does death whenever you're facing cancer. And you know what? I learned something. There is no time to mess around with this stuff. There is no time to placate others. There is no time to pretend that this political environment doesn't affect me. I can put my head in the sand and I can say, oh, well, it's never going to touch me. I'm stealth in most of my life, blah, 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 which so many people do. There's no time for that. I don't have enough time in my life because I don't know how much life I have. This cancer could recur next month. It could be stage 4 in 3 months. I could be dead in a year. Most people don't think about that until you get the word that it's cancer. And I need people to understand that. We don't know how much time we have. And yeah, every day I make the decision to wake up and not be miserable about it. Doesn't mean I'm happy. I'm just not miserable because I choose not to be. Everybody tells me, oh, you're so positive. Well, I have no choice. I can either take every day as it comes and live my life in the present moment, in the present day, or I can be miserable for the rest of my life, however long that is. And that's not being doom and gloom. That's just being factual. Cancer is a chronic illness. It is never going to go away. It will always be with me. After 2 years, less likely to come back. After 5 years, even less likely to come back. It doesn't matter. You can be Ned for 15 years and it can come back. It doesn't matter. It's still there. But, all of these things tie together. And if you've never had a cancer diagnosis, you may not think about these things, because why would you? I didn't think about these things. I mean, yeah, I was an activist and I was doing what I could to help others, but it never dawned on me exactly how much it really meant. Be that person for somebody else. Be the person that you want to be, not the person you think you have to be. Be who you want to be. And if that ticks people off, well, maybe they need to adjust their thinking. You don't need to adjust yours. All I have to say, be kind. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Be kind. Or if you want to put it in a more vulgar fashion, don't be a dick. It's pretty easy. Be a kind person. That's all you need to do in the world today. Something bothers you? Move about your day. Post on Facebook. Talk about something you don't believe in. Scroll past. Now, of course, there's certain things that you're going to need to speak up on, like fascism being a given. But just because you don't like a book somebody else is reading, you don't need a one-page long diatribe on how dark romance is the end of all good things in the world. It's dark romance. You don't like it, don't read it. Let people enjoy their things. Be kind. Be kind and live for today. That's my advice to everybody. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. And do you want to be that person tomorrow that you face your last moments and all you can think about is how horrible you've been to other people? I don't want to be that way. So yeah, a little off topic today, but the main thing is, yay for ringing the bell, and I'll be back after my scans. Hopefully I'm able to celebrate being cancer-free. Well, as cancer-free as you ever get. All right, my lovely folks. See you next time.